Do you understand the pharmaceutical industry? It's a sunrise sector, sustaining a remarkable 5% annual compound growth rate, even in a global economic downturn. With industry giants rushing in, do you still feel like you're blindly groping for insight after watching countless videos and articles? Did you know that beyond doctors, nurses, and pharmaceutical sales reps, the pharmaceutical industry includes hundreds of diverse roles? And it's not just for those with medical or pharmaceutical degrees. People from all educational backgrounds can find their place here. Some roles even come with high pay and light workloads. But what exactly do these roles involve? How did the big names you see trending online, Pfizer, Novartis, AstraZeneca, get their start? What's their current state, and what intriguing stories lie behind their success? Let's explore. Hello, everyone. Welcome to MedFun, a channel dedicated to sharing medical knowledge in an engaging and informative way. This is a video series designed to help everyone understand the pharmaceutical industry in a simple, approachable, and engaging way. The content is primarily drawn from public and non-public industry resources, expert interviews, and my own work experience. If you notice any inaccuracies, feel free to join the discussion in the comments section. As the opening episode of this series, today we'll take a broad look at the pharmaceutical industry. While there are already many articles and videos about this topic online, the complexity of the industry, full of specialized terms and English abbreviations, often leaves people confused. That's why I'll be using straightforward explanations and relatable analogies to make it easier for you to grasp. The pharmaceutical industry can be broadly divided into two major segments: medical care and pharmaceuticals. Medical care refers to healthcare services, what we typically experience when we visit a hospital for treatment. Doctors and nurses provide these services through various institutions, such as public hospitals, private hospitals, cosmetic clinics, and health checkup centers. These institutions represent the consumer-facing end of the healthcare industry. Our focus today, however, is on the process of treatment itself. During a medical visit, we might undergo various tests, surgeries, or drug-based treatments. The instruments used for examinations, the equipment used in surgeries, and the medicines for treatment all fall under the category of pharmaceuticals and medical devices, which form a core part of the pharmaceutical market. This is because, apart from the fees we pay for healthcare services, the majority of medical expenses are allocated to these products. This product-centric segment can be further categorized in many ways. For example, is it a vaccine or a medical device? A chemical drug, a traditional medicine, or a biological product? Anti-cancer or anti-infective? Is this product your own patent or a copy of someone else's? There are many ways to classify pharmaceutical products, but such categorizations can often become confusing. It's like the fast food industry. If you were to categorize every type of fast food based on whether it's selling hamburgers or pizzas, the explanations would get unnecessarily long. To simplify, we can use a general manufacturing classification method known as the smiling curve. Many of you may have heard of it. The curve expresses how research and development, R&D, and sales add more value, while production and manufacturing add comparatively less. The entire curve looks like a smile, hence the name. Similarly, pharmaceutical companies, which manufacture products, can also be divided into three key modules: R&D, manufacturing, and sales, which is often referred to as commercialization. These three modules are extremely important, and future videos will expand on them. Understanding these three components will be crucial to deeply understanding the pharmaceutical industry. From these three modules, various types of companies and positions have emerged. While some large companies may manage all three modules, the majority of smaller companies, due to the high costs of drug development, typically specialize in just one module, or even a submodule of one. The remaining services are often outsourced to suppliers or handled by others. It's also worth noting the Double 10 Law, which states that bringing an innovative drug from R&D to market typically requires $1 billion and 10 years of investment. This explains why many companies opt to focus on just one aspect of the process to manage the enormous costs involved in drug development. For example, Apple handles R&D for the iPhone, but the actual assembly is carried out by Foxconn, a major contract manufacturer. Similarly, in the pharmaceutical industry, the same pattern applies where companies might only focus on one part of the process, whether it's R&D, manufacturing, or sales. Let's take a closer look at these three modules and what they generally involve. First, the R&D module is quite straightforward. Its primary role is to take a product from concept to reality and continuously improve and develop it. Let's use a mature and representative example of small molecule chemical drugs. Typically, the R&D process can be broken down into three main stages. Basic research. This phase involves identifying potential products that might treat a specific disease based on current scientific discoveries. However, everything is still theoretical at this point. For example, in ancient times, if a king fell ill with a mysterious disease and doctors couldn't cure him, they would study symptoms and consult medical books or look for folk remedies. If they found a potential treatment, they would prepare a few different formulas and move on to the next stage. Preclinical research. At this stage, you can't just give a remedy to the king because it hasn't been tested yet. If it doesn't work, that's one thing. But if it causes harm, the consequences could be dire. So, researchers first test the remedy on small animals to check for toxicity and study factors like how it should be administered, e.g., as a powder or in a soup, and how much should be taken. Once they have some confidence in its safety and effectiveness, they proceed to the next phase. Clinical research. Now that the product has been tested on animals, it's time to start testing it on a small group of humans to see if it's safe and effective. If everything goes well through all three stages, basic research, preclinical testing, and clinical trials, you're ready to apply for approval to produce and sell the product. In modern terms, this means applying for regulatory approval for commercialization. In short, if the treatment works and the king is cured, you've succeeded. And in the real world, that means you're on your way to receiving the green light for production and market release. Now that we've used some analogies, let's dive deeper into the details of these three stages. I'll briefly mention some terms here to get them familiar to you. Don't worry if you don't fully understand them yet. We'll explain them in detail later. But let's start by getting them into your ears. Basic research. This typically includes target discovery, identifying the biological target that the drug will interact with. Target validation, confirming that this target is indeed involved in the disease and is a good candidate for drug development. Lead compound discovery, finding the initial compound that could potentially bind to the target. Lead optimization, refining the lead compound to improve its properties, such as effectiveness and safety. Preclinical research, this usually involves pharmacodynamics research, understanding how the drug affects the body. Toxicology studies, testing for any harmful effects of the drug. Animal pharmacokinetic studies, examining how the drug is absorbed, distributed, metabolized, and excreted in animals. Manufacturing process, developing the method for mass production of the drug. Formulation research, designing the most effective form of the drug, e.g., tablet, injectable. Clinical research. You've probably heard of the 1 to 4 clinical trial phases, so I won't go into too much detail here. However, besides the doctors, nurses, and participants in hospitals, the pharmaceutical companies will involve many other departments in the clinical research process, such as regulatory affairs, clinical operations, clinical monitoring, medical writing, medical affairs, data management, statistical programming, pharmacovigilance, quality management, supply chain management. These are just some of the key roles. Yes, it's a lot of positions, and that's because clinical research alone makes up 80% of the total costs of pharmaceutical R&D. It's incredibly complex and difficult, and it's also where most innovative drugs fail. Now that we've covered the R&D module, let's move on to the manufacturing module. This one is relatively easier to understand. It's similar to any other factory producing products, except that these products must meet very high standards and requirements. However, since there are many types of drugs such as small molecules, biologics, cell therapy, gene therapy, and more, each with its own unique characteristics, manufacturing processes can vary widely. The core components of the manufacturing process are as follows. Production department. As the name suggests, this department is responsible for producing the product according to the development process. This involves adding raw materials, excipients, heating, filtering, and other necessary operations to produce the final product. Quality control, QC, and quality assurance, QA, departments. These teams ensure that the products produced meet the required quality standards. QC handles testing, while QA oversees the entire process to ensure compliance with regulations and quality standards. Supply Chain Department. This is a critical department responsible for transporting and storing the raw materials, excipients, and packaging materials needed by the production department. It also manages the storage and transportation of the finished products. Production Analysis Science Department. This department is responsible for validating manufacturing processes, conducting secondary development, and optimizing processes. To illustrate this with an example from the TV show Breaking Bad, the chemistry teacher, Walter White, tries to sell drugs to a drug lord. However, the drug lord wants too much product, and the raw materials available can't meet the demand. Faced with this pressure, Walter White modifies the existing manufacturing process and changes the raw materials, ultimately producing a higher quality product, the pure blue crystals. This is essentially the role of the Production Analysis Science Department, constantly optimizing and validating production processes. Engineering Support Department. This department ensures that all production equipment is validated, maintained, and functioning properly. They make sure that the equipment used in manufacturing doesn't fail. Utility Department. This department manages auxiliary functions within the factory, such as water and gas supply, waste disposal, pollution control, air conditioning systems, sterile systems, and more. These are the main functions of the manufacturing module. Each department plays a crucial role in ensuring the safe and efficient production of pharmaceutical products. At this point, our product has passed through the R&D and manufacturing stages and is ready for patients. But do you think the remaining work is easy? No. If you think that, you're being naive. Along with a great product, you need an excellent commercialization team. The success or failure of commercialization will ultimately determine the fate of the product. This is why many small companies, after going through the tremendous effort of developing a great product, often have to collaborate with large enterprises. Facing a complex market and fierce competition, commercialization failure can easily destroy an excellent product. For those who shop online frequently, you'll know that no matter how great the product is, without advertising, paying for featured placements, writing sponsored content, or hiring a spokesperson, how will consumers even know about it and buy it? Therefore, the commercialization team's role is easy to understand. It's about how to sell the company's products more effectively and to a larger audience. A commercialization team typically consists of the following departments: market access and affairs, marketing, sales, and medical affairs. The Regulatory and Affairs Department is primarily responsible for communication with regulatory bodies and hospitals to obtain approval for the product sale in hospitals, maintain government relations, negotiate with healthcare insurance providers, and handle bulk procurement, among other tasks. The Marketing Department can be divided into the Central Marketing Team and the Regional Marketing Team. They focus on determining the promotion direction for related products, developing promotion strategies, and executing promotional activities to increase the product's influence. The Sales Department is well known to most people, with roles such as pharmaceutical representatives falling under this department. Their primary responsibilities include promoting the product and driving sales growth. Finally, the Medical Affairs Department within the commercial team differs from the R&D department's medical team. The Commercial Medical Affairs team typically includes roles like medical science liaisons, MSLs, and medical advisors, MAs. Their role is to support the successful commercialization of the product from a medical and academic perspective. With that, the entire pharmaceutical cycle has been explained. Does it feel clearer now? This episode contains a lot of information, so if you didn't fully remember or have questions about some parts, don't worry. In future videos, I will dive deeper into the research, production, and sales modules to help you better understand each part. At the end of the video, I'd like to thank you all for watching. Please follow our channel for more updates. If you have any suggestions for the show, feel free to send a private message or leave a comment.